Welcome to a quick guide for using the Skillsgrid system. When you're logged onto the system, you can create your file structure according to the various roles in your organization. You do this by creating a sub-entity for each role, and it will be added to your organogram, and this list will grow. When you use Skillsgrid alongside other products like ShadowMatch and StressMapper, make sure to use the filter option. This filter will focus specifically on Skillsgrid, so any action or functionality you would then use would be linked to Skillsgrid specifically. If you want to invite individuals to complete the Skillsgrid worksheet, simply go to the file you've created for them, so the sub-entity with the name of the role they are in. Let's take sales as an example, and then click on the Send Worksheet Invites option. Here you have the option to send invites directly to individuals, or you can send this in bulk format if you're sending a lot of invites at the same time. With Skillsgrid, make sure to mark the individuals specifically as benchmark individuals or employees. What I'm referring to here is if an individual is currently performing in a specific role, make sure to choose the type here as benchmark individual. With Skillsgrid, the benchmark individuals receives a different worksheet. So it's the same basis of the worksheet, exactly the same 25 questions to gather the skills information, but they will have an extra page at the end to ask them, please rate the priority of these skills in your current role. So if you know before sending the worksheet invites if they are a benchmark individual or not, make sure to choose the option here. You're also welcome to later on, if you didn't do this before sending out the worksheet invite, then you can ask them to just give you that information by moving them to a benchmark individual. But the best practice is to set this before sending out the worksheet invite. If it's any employee in your organization, you can simply set the type as employee, and obviously anybody applying for a role, you can set the type as applicant. Complete their details and click submit. Then they will receive the Skillsgrid worksheet invite. They complete the worksheet on their side, and the moment they complete the worksheet, you would have access to the data on your side on the system. If they were marked as benchmark individuals, they would automatically populate in this subgroup here. Employees and applicants will be there. What does a Skillsgrid benchmark look like? You access it by clicking on Skillsgrid benchmark. Now, this is the data that was gathered by all of the top performers in this specific role, where they identified their specific skills in this specific role and also rated the priority. So on the benchmark, you would see the level of that specific skill. Let's take negotiation skills as an example. So it's up until this block here, so we know it's a highly skilled level. And the second part of our interpretation is what is the coloring of the block? We see it's this dark gray here, so we know it's a critical skill. So the skills level along with priority shown for that specific skill in each benchmark. Now, this will obviously be different according to the different roles in your organizations. In Skillsgrid, you also have the option to create the benchmark yourself. If you want to set up the benchmark's specific skill set, you can send yourself a benchmark invitation for this specific role and complete the skills grid according to the skills required for this role. We do, however, still recommend that you rather ask your top performers to do this because they are doing the job every day, so they have a better insight into what is the current skills level and skills priority required for that specific role, but you do have that option. More on that on the Need Help videos. If you now want to compare any of the employees or applicants to this benchmark, you can go to the list, and then you'll see you can rank it here from your best match, closest match with Skillsgrid, where a skills to a match where the skills are a bit different. Let's see what a match looks like. So now this individual here. Now I can see the blue graph is the individual's Skillsgrid score over our benchmark for that specific score. The match will communicate where are the skills area that we need to focus on first. So the red indicators, you will see, okay, here's the biggest skills gap where there's a critical skill, for instance, and the individual has the biggest skills gap there. If you hide the benchmark, you would see what the individual skills grid result looks like. So this is just the individual score without the benchmark their current skills level with all of the sub-skills they've captured whilst completing the Skillsgrid worksheet. Now in Skillsgrid, you can also multi-match. So you get this in your left main menu here. If you say Skillsgrid multi-match, then you'll be able to match this individual to any of the other Skillsgrid benchmarks that you've already created. So we took a look at the individual in sales. What was the match here? If you compare that same individual to a different requirement of skill set, in this example in customer support, you can see it's a lot closer, the alignment. So the chance or the areas of skills development are less. So the chances of that individual being ready for action in that role is a lot better. If you want to do a multi-match from a benchmark, you simply go to Skillsgrid benchmark. Then you click the button here. And now what you're going to ask the system is, please give me a list of individuals and how their skills would match my specific skills required in that benchmark. So I'm now going from a Skillsgrid benchmark in customer support, asking the system to search the database and show me the list of individuals and how they align to this specific role. So either matching an individual to roles or then matching a role and searching their database of individuals. Now, a great function in Skillsgrid is the export option. It allows you to work with this data hands-on in a spreadsheet format. You get this in your left main menu. If you click on export data, you'll see you have the option here to export any of your Skillsgrid data. You can select the fields you specifically want. What does a Skillsgrid export look like? Something like this. And the list I want to show you that's very important and very valuable to you is the skills gap. The skills with the biggest difference lower than the benchmark. So you can then have a list. Let's say you gathered this for all of the employees in your organization. In one list, in one place, you can see where is the biggest skills gap for all of these individuals. So this allows you to inform your skills planning, the training you include for everybody in your organization. Is it tailored per individual? Or are there trends that you can pick up that you know you should make part of your basic skills training in your organization? Skillsgrid allows you to have this in one visual place where you can work with it hands-on. Now, just the last thing to mention is, remember, you have access to the Need Help button. So at any point, you're welcome to access this and find all the resources about the specific things in Skillsgrid you want to know about. This was just a quick guide to help you to get started on the system.